so welcome back to Relentless Talk Radio. Today is episode 73 of Relentless Talk Radio, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 ways that you can rise like a phoenix. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the where this topic came from. So obviously, we live in Phoenix, and so the Phoenix rising symbol has always been something kind of cool for me. The fact that I live in Phoenix, also interesting to me. But really, let's just talk about some of the craziness that's been going on in our world. Friday night, I had a plan to go out and had to cancel it because of COVID-related things. Saturday night, I had plans to meet some folks to go line dancing outside at the Buffalo Chip and had to cancel it because Cave Creek has had not 1, but 2 fires this week. One was started accidentally. The other one was started on purpose. So there's literally over 900 acres that have been destroyed in Cave Creek this week in fire. There's been a lot of fires going on around Arizona as well. And then, of course, we can't help but miss some of the craziness that's going on with the riots that are happening all over the country, and particularly in Phoenix. I didn't go to a rally that I was planning on attending, a bike rally that I was planning on attending on Sunday, because of the craziness that's been going on. Desert Ridge being shut down, Fashion Square Mall being vandalized, and just, it's surreal, really, what's going on. So I'm just thinking about, I'm sure you guys all have stuff going on in your life, this has been a really interesting year for me. I lost my dad, and then COVID hit, and, it's just been a really, really interesting time. And I'm sure all of you have your own things that are happening in your life that are just really super interesting. I have a lot of changes happening simultaneously, changing studios, just a lot of change and a lot of drama and trauma happening simultaneously. So I thought, well, what could I talk about today that might have value for people? So I always try to choose a topic that both of my guests can talk about and feel good about. So I wanted to show you Bruno, who's in the segment 2 of the series, his new logo, 100 to 0. I love the idea of rising from the ashes, and he's carrying a barbell out of the ashes. So we're going to talk in segment 2 with Bruno about how he used health and fitness to rise in his life, and now as a business person, how he's kind of used health and fitness to help him rise from a difficult situation. So I think that this image really struck me, and I just love this logo, and I'm going to have Bruno tell us who the designer is this logo, because they really did a fantastic job on this logo. Really, really fantastic. But, so I was thinking, what could I talk about today that would give some value? So I did a little, of course I do a little research, and I was thinking about the idea of rising from the ashes, and just how old that is. The Egyptians, and hey, Gypsy, nice to see you. The Egyptians and the Greek and the Chinese all have some type of mythical creature that is a bird, that is a phoenix, that either ignites themselves on fire or is in some kind of fiery situation and rises out of the ashes. And I love the idea of rebirth and renewal and hope, just an eternal life. Just this kind of. And as I'm speaking, I'm thinking it's just kind of post-Easter for me. Easter was the last big holiday, and I've been thinking an awful lot about, eternal life and just, renewal a lot lately. So the first thing that happens, for me, when I go through a situation, and let's be frank, aren't we all going through a situation where we're just on fire right now? Between COVID and the riots that are happening and everything that's going on in our personal lives and whatever you have happening in your business. It's just a very interesting time. I think we're all really kind of in a way on fire right now. And, what's going to happen next is very uncertain. It just is. I was talking with my mom today about one of the businesses that I sold in Vermont, and just hoping that they're going to make it through, It's just not an easy time right now for business people. So Gypsy Loomis is asking me, am I live right now? Of course I am, Gypsy, because you see me. You see me, absolutely. I'm definitely live right now. So So the first thing I was thinking about was, I guess you could think I was on replay. That's wrong of me to laugh, but I get it. Yes, we are live right now for sure. So the first thing that happens when I'm on fire is I kind of revisit my core values, and think about, did I throw myself into this fire pit, or is this a situation that is just a learning experience for me? But where am I in all of this? What are my values? What is happening in this situation where my values are either compromised or I've forgotten them, or maybe what's happening is that I'm being galvanized. And I love that word, galvanized. There's a really cool. Good morning, Chris. There's a really cool startup facility downtown Phoenix and also in LA and I think in Chicago called Galvanize. And the idea of galvanizing is when you basically take an electrical shock and you shock yourself into action. So I think sometimes, and I don't know why that just happened. I had a little bit of a dark thing happen right there. Sometimes, when we're in the fire, it really sparks us literally to get into action. And I find that every time that I'm in a fiery situation, personally, professionally, just across the board, it really sparks me into action. And sometimes decisions that, maybe you were dragging your feet on, maybe it was a tough decision you didn't want to make, or, maybe there was something you had to do or change or move that you've just been dragging your feet on. Sometimes when we're on fire, we have no choice but to move and to move vigorously with action, right? So the first thing that I get out of, being in a fiery situation and being the Phoenix is to get into action. So the way to get out of being in the fire is to get into action. And Brent Kleiman, I'm a spark for so many. You're so sweet. I love you. I'm going to give you the hugest hug. I didn't even pay you to say that. That's very sweet of you. So next thing is reframe. Okay, I am a master at this, okay? When I am in a fiery situation, I find the way to make it the best thing that ever happened as quick as possible. Anybody that knows me knows this. I'm going to find a way to make things positive as quickly as possible. I'm going to look on the sunny side of things. I'm going to find a way to make the glass half full. I'm actually going to find a way to make the glass like overflowing, because every negative situation, there's always a really ton of positive stuff going on too. And we are what we focus on. So a way to get out of the fire and to rise from the ashes and the fire is to reframe, flip the script. Take a look at, as opposed to the, Brent Kleiman is saying, I pay people to say nice things. Not yet, but maybe I should. That's a good idea. I could get more followers if I paid people, don't you think? So, reframing is a very important quality, okay? Being able to take a look at a very awful situation and find the good in it is something that if you haven't got that skill yet, then you need to develop it. Go Google that shit, find a book, and learn how to reframe immediately. The next thing is to be accountable. I know we hate this. We hate this. We hate to take inventory and we hate to look at our part. We just hate it. It's against the first thing you want to be is like, no, not my problem. But the reality is that whenever there's a situation, I don't care what it is, you have a part in it. Either you're co-signing somebody else's bullshit, or you're creating bullshit, or you're allowing bullshit, or you walk down the road where there was bullshit and you made a decision to be participating in bullshit. Every single time I've been in a fiery situation, I think to myself, well, I might not have invited, it might not have been my idea, but I might be standing in this bullshit a little too long. So be accountable for your part in why you're in a fiery situation. Now, I don't know, this situation with what's going on in our world right now, how can you be accountable? You can be accountable for your attitude, folks. Stop posting negative shit on social media. Stop it. Stop adding to the problem and being hateful. It's not helpful. Focus on things that are going to help people, not people that are going to hurt people. Really, you're accountable for your attitude about what's going on in the world, okay? And if you don't take responsibility for your attitude, then you're powerless, and nobody wants to be powerless. I don't know. That word powerless is kind of a double thing, because I think some of the things in my life I've admitted powerlessness over has set me free, like with alcohol. I am powerless over how alcohol affects my body when I put in there. But what I do have power over is making a decision not to put it in my body. That's up to me, right? What happens once it gets in there is my genetics, it's whatever, okay? But I have the power to be accountable for my own shit. If I got stuff going on that I need to work on, or I need to change, or I need to move or shift, I am accountable for that. I got to go to therapy. I got to get medication. I got to do whatever it is that I got to do to help myself, okay? Because at the end of the day, we are accountable. We are ultimately accountable. God gave us free will, and we are accountable for all of our shit. Even if our shit was caused by other people, maybe somebody hurt you, or you've had bad parents, or maybe you had something horrible happen to you. All of that stuff is not part of your control. But what you do have control over is what you do with it once you've defined it and you look at it and you see what it is. You have the responsibility to be accountable for doing the next right thing, right? So being accountable. And the fourth thing is to live on purpose. So our life is not meant to be just one party after another, one just take, right? You have to have a purpose in life. If you haven't got a purpose in life, you're bored and you're boring, quite frankly. What is your purpose? Now, your purpose doesn't have to be a big, huge purpose, okay? My mom is the best knitter, crocheter on the planet, okay? My mom can crochet the crap out of a blanket, okay? There's lots of people all over the country that have my mom's blankets. My mom's purpose is all about loving people. And one of the ways she does that is by making these really cool Afghans, right? I don't know what your purpose is. That's why when I say what my mission is my mission is to lift you up and encourage you so you can discover that for yourself, because everybody's purpose is different. But you gotta have one. You can't just be going through life, getting up every day and going to work and just kind of go to work and then taking. Go to work, spend, take, sleep, eat, consume. That's an empty life. You got to have a reason to get up in the morning. Something bigger than you. God gave you gifts. He gave you huge ones. He gave you amazing ones. He gave me amazing ones. I'm accountable for my shit, and I'm also accountable for putting myself in a position where I can use those gifts for the betterment of society. And I don't know what your story is. It's not up to me to decide. And your story doesn't have to be big like mine. Like, one of my goals is to gift $100,000 to charity. That's one of my goals. I'm not stopping until I write the check, okay? Now, why is that? Because I believe that if I am put on this earth and I'm able to be productive, it's my job to give back. I don't believe in just going into a community and taking and not giving back, right? So I have a purpose to give. My purpose is to lift people up and encourage them so they can discover their purpose, so they can give, right? So they can have a purpose. So if you're in fire, you've got to think to yourself, okay, where's my core values in all this? Who am I? What's good about this stuff? What's my responsibility? And also what's not my responsibility? Be accountable and figure out what your purpose is and live it, okay? And the fifth thing is take the lessons with you, but leave the story behind. God, this is a tough one for me because I have a lot of crappy stories. And I have a hard time sometimes leaving them behind, because the story is so long, entertaining, hurtful, whatever, right? So it's hard to sometimes not be attached to the story. Somebody hurt me. Someone did me wrong. Someone made a bad decision. Somebody this, that business didn't go the way I wanted it to, or fill in the blank, right? Somebody died. I got hurt. Something, whatever, all the things that we have, these stories that we have, people died. I have a lot of people died stories. I could use that a lot. I can't drink, blah, 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 right? All those stories. But what I try to do as soon as I can is stop myself from telling the story and look at the lesson, right? What's the lesson? What lesson did I get? How do I choose wiser next time? How do I define bad fits? How do I position myself to be in a better situation, to be my better self? What do I do with the situation, and what lesson did I learn from it? And how can I take that lesson with me forward so I can be a better person? I was just listening to Joel Osteen this morning, and he was talking about how, sometimes things will happen in our life that are meant to prune us so that we can grow later. And then, this has been a story of mine right along. I really believe that sometimes we have to be pruned down to the nub. If you're in Arizona and you've watched, I'm taking a look at the time, you've watched them prune the trees down to the last little nub. And then 2 weeks later, there's these big bushes there. The reality is that in order to get the bush to grow, you need to prune to the stub. So sometimes when we're on the fire, we're being pruned. And what do we do next with it? Okay, what do we do next? So the 5 reasons are, the 5 ways to get out of, to rise like a phoenix are to revisit your core values and to galvanize, to reframe is number 2. Number 3 is be accountable. Number 4 is live on purpose. And number 5 is take the lesson with you, but leave the story behind. All right, so I'm gonna go get Bruno. He's next, and we're gonna talk about his business, 100 to 0. And we're talking about this really great logo that he did. And he just changed facilities. I can't wait to talk to him. And then in segment 3, we're gonna talk to Nicolette about art and also what it means to be an empowered woman. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Come on back, guys. I'm gonna go get Bruno. Hey, yeah, I can. So let me just change the copy here. How are you today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. It got hot in my studio all of a sudden. I don't know why that is. My new studio, I got to figure out the delicate balance with the AC. You know how it goes, you know?
Yeah, well, it's really hot today.
Is it really hot today? I hadn't noticed. I mean, I've been so busy doing shit. And I had to, you know what? I had to take a frickin' nap today. It's like one of those, you ever have one of those days where you're like, I got to lay down.
Definitely.
I got to lay down. Let's see. I'm going to grab your logo. I just love this logo. He really did it. You know, I'm a graphic designer too, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. My first 2 degrees are in art, which is why I started to be a trainer so that I could afford to be an artist. The irony of my life has not been missed on me. Okay, let's see, desktop. I had it up there earlier. I deleted it out by accident so I could look for it. Yeah, where'd it go? Yep. Cool, there it is. All right, okay. And I'm just changing your name here. $100 to 0, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what's your website?
I mean, I literally just got everything set up, so it's not even.
Yeah, give me your number.
What's that?
What's your number?
602-717-6016.
All righty. You ready?
Yep.
Make sure my notes are here. Jeez. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. This whole time we've been recording. That's
Oh,
too bad. Yeah, let me stop this. Let me stop this.